You know, Brightburn is that cautionary tale that makes me wonder about giving 12-year-olds magic powers. You know, the whole reason why I think Harry Potter and the concept of Hogwarts is a whole bad idea. So let's talk about it. What's going on, Dungeon Dwellers? Welcome back to Dave's Dungeon. How y'all doing? You missed me? I missed you. As always, I am your host, the one, the only, Dungeon Master Dave, and as you can tell, I got sleep. That's how that works, apparently. Yeah, well, I got sleep, I got other things. Everything's actually kind of, I fed myself. Be happy. I'm not doing this review at 6 a.m., although I was writing it at 6 a.m., so that's kind of been the whole delay going on here recently is I run out of time. I kind of run out of time to do things given my other responsibilities. So before we get into it, I'm sorry these are kind of late and not coming up when they're supposed to. Mea culpa. I'm bad at schedules. I'm bad. I try. I tried so hard and got so far last night, but then it just didn't matter. So anyways, if you've never seen one of these reviews, hi, welcome. We like it that you're here. Thank you for joining us. Us in these dungeons of horror movies and video games that, prove to be the adventures of the modern era. So, but we review each film based on 5 criteria, and those are plot, special effects, tension, gore, and victim, killer, and or otherwise, scenario, wrap-up, ending, etc. With that in mind, let's dive into this one. God, I love these types of stories. Of course, these are all the types of stories there are. Given this is probably the... I don't want to... Ooh, you blowing. Let's back that off a little bit. Sorry. I didn't realize I was popping y'all in the face every time I was talking. That's not good. We don't want that. But the plot here is the coming of age story. It's known in Latin Bildungsroman. It's the I'm growing up story, and as much as we're tired of that story, we're never tired of that story. Because all of us believe in an underdog. That's the same story. All of us believe in our chance to buy into the American dream. That's the underdog story, which is just the coming of age story. So, so much of our myth is built on the idea that I can improve and one day see victory. And I respect that. This subverts that hardcore. Hardcore. And it does it with our most treasured and sacred myth ever. And I love that. I love that subversion. I gotta say, if you know what plot it's copying, this movie has no surprises really for you. That being said, it doesn't need to surprise you to scare you. Okay, you don't need to be... This isn't a mystery. That was not the intent. This is the... We should have done what responsible people should have done. Okay? We're far beyond the point of no return. We should have done what we should have done properly in the past and have completely messed that up because of our own wants. That happens. That's human. That's, it's believable. It got me right into the story. The whole family dynamic is great. I feel like I've seen Elizabeth Banks in like 3 other mom roles. I feel like she was a mom in like a few other things, and she's just kind of between that and Effie. That is mahogany. No Effie isms in this. to be perfectly honest, which I'm a little sad about. I'm a little sad because if I had to shave like a 1/100th of a point off of anything that kind of aggravated me a little bit, it was that she didn't get to. It felt like she was kept very much in what the writers had in mind for her. She didn't feel like she got to do a lot of ad lib. It didn't feel like she got to, I don't know, play as much as the dad did. The dad felt like he got all the sort of snappy isms and comebacks and the sort of witticisms and that sort of stuff. And I would have liked to have seen a little bit, I don't want to say more punchiness, just if it at times it felt like watching Elizabeth Banks as a mom instead of as the mother of this kid. And as always, I'm going to try and keep it as spoiler free as possible. We're talking about the general sort of things that you should know even coming into this film. Nothing spoilery, nothing down to actual plot details or anything of the sort until we get to the spoiler section. So just no worries there. But given all of that, I'm going to give the plot a 10. And some of you are going to go, uh-oh, here we go. And then it's a 10 out of 10. Plot's a 10 out of 10. Special effects, 10 out of 10. I love the way this film did the special effects. It is amazing how they did the special effects here. You've got so many good shots and so many good points and so many good things that can be talked about in spoilers. But the tension, I feel like it doesn't take too long to get to it. And as a matter of fact, I feel like you started at really the perfect place. It's great that we don't necessarily start from the beginning. This is one of the times I feel like a fast forward and not starting from starting from the beginning. Actually saved this movie some runtime. And I have a joke that just popped into my head while I was trying to get the phlegm out of my throat. That I can't even say. We're going to have to save that joke for spoilers. But yeah, no, I'm glad that they sort of truncated the beginning from initial contact to the starting event that we, the viewer, are joining the film in. So yeah, I really like that. It starts at a really good place and just picks up. I mean, and just run, ramp. And this isn't the Godzilla effect of, I don't know if you guys have seen the Godzilla Western remake where you barely see Godzilla. This is not that. I thought this film was going to have a little bit of that in the tension of you weren't going to get a good sense of what the scenario was and what all was in it, so to speak. I didn't understand if you were going to get to see the capabilities of everything that was acting in the movie. But this movie allayed those fears quite immediately almost. It goes fully there, and I'm so glad that it does. If it had pulled back a little, if it had strayed but a little, it would not have worked. But because it is so faithful to what it is, I don't want to say copying and I don't want to say mimicking, but what it is inspired by, because it is so faithful to what it is inspired by, and then in its intent inverts that, it just works. It works so well. Now, saying all of that, gore warning. Holy shit. And I'm saying a curse word there to get your fucking attention. There's your second one. There is a huge amount of gore in this film. And for those of you who are not up for what we've had so far, oh boy, this film crosses some lines, kids. We're not in Kansas anymore. Okay? We are not fucking around. Yes, it's a 3 curse word kind of day with this film. And gore warning, eye trauma. Eye trauma. If you don't like watching eye trauma, don't watch this film. It will scar you. Oh man, just thinking about that scene is like, ugh. It's true horror. It's not just gouging. It's not just what you would think. It's not just, oh well, I'm putting somebody's eyes out. It's not just something. It's not just eye related violence. We've had that before. We've had the Junji Itos. We've had the sort of needle kind of going at the eye. This is so much different and yet poignant and yet powerful. You know, it does all the right sort of moves. Excuse me. Sorry, just decided to go on ahead and just do the whole like, I'm coming up along. I'm going along. But anyways, yeah, that's better. Whoa. But this movie does such a good job of making sure the gore is worth it and making sure that the gore ties back into the plot points and it goes to the overall effect of the story, and I love it. And it's all hard to watch. And I'm warning you. I am warning you. Even for the veterans, the gore in this film is hard to watch. Between this and the next film I review, the gore in them both is fucking hard to watch. I don't know how many times I have to say it. Damn it, turn it down. I get it. You want to go to 11 every film. Turn that shit down. Down. And I know some of you are going, David, you're screaming, turn your mic down. Oh my God, I've been blowing your heads off. Moppy, my bad. Hopefully that's better. Oh God, the fact that I'm doing these during the daytime is like, got me fucked up. Yeah, I'm at the point. I'm at that point. This film goes there, and it's a 50. If you want the total, if you're still caring about all those points and counterpoints and everything in this film, it's a 50. It's all 10s. I think this is an A+ film. I'm giving it top marks, and I'm saying this is a must-see for true horror fans. Now, that's a problem because I had a little bit of a hard time finding this film. Do what you got to. Find it. I think I found it through Amazon, I think it was Stars, or no, it was, don't quote me, I've been watching so many films, I'm losing where I'm finding them at. Find it where you need to. Get it in your face. Okay, I don't know where we missed this film. I missed it. It's been out for a few years now, and I'm sure some of you can see it down there. Yeah, some of you are going, hey, what's that? Why has that been there? Why has he not mentioned it? That's for spoilers. You can't find out what's behind that until the spoilers section, which means you gotta watch the film. So, now that you know what I think, shoo, run away. Running away. Or I'm going to start spoiling things and you're not going to like me very much. So, thank you so much for joining me. If you would leave that like, make sure you subscribe. Hit that bell for more notifications when I drop these videos. Thank you for joining me. I love you all so much. Thanks for joining my journeys. and I hope to see you soon. Now, shoo those of you who don't want spoilers. That's your final warning. Oh my God, the Superman myth turned on its head. You've been warned. That was my warning shot across the bow. I love this concept. I love this concept. I love this concept. I literally wrote this down to sort of mark the opening of the film. A time of adolescence, as if things weren't awkward enough for a kid. Suddenly he's Superman, and both him and the spaceship are bugging. Yeah, I love the way this sets up. And it makes so much sense. And I love how they use real world examples, like with the bees, and it all ties back to the plot, and everything they develop sort of has a place and a meaning and a thing. And of course it does, because it's James Gunn. Yeah, I found that little nugget out after I watched it. I was like, holy crap, who made this? Like, who gets the gold star? Yep. Mr. Guardians of the Galaxy, Mr. Marvel Films, now is in my horror. And now I gotta put up with some stuff, because guys, I need to know. I need to know if it's for real. I need to know. I've already seen some images. And I've already seen the Twitter where he said, hey, Guardians 3 is between us and Brightburn 2. Don't make a promise that you can't keep, James. I swear to you, I'm gonna be mad. I'm gonna be mad if this is a one-trick pony, because this can't end here. Plot-wise, this is only the beginning. This is like an origin story. You can't do me like this. This would be the biggest crime, is to have a film as good as this, not get a sequel, not go forward and develop something here. This is like Malignant, but on like a factor of 10. Okay, this is as satisfying as that film is. It has everything in it you want from an origin story of, the Superman myth. You want that sort of, he crashed here, he's a boy. And you get to see all the development, all the powers, each little thing. And I was worried that wasn't going to happen. I was worried he was just going to wake up and have laser beam eyes. No. This film is not just, let's play the overt notes and hope we hit a home run. No, it is not just playing, well, this is Superman. It is playing, well, this is Superman, and that's what I mean. It's very carefully hitting those notes. But it's also very carefully hitting the notes of, what if Superman was bad? What if he was bad? And this is where I feel like it's not just playing the Superman story. It's playing another story that makes me want to geek out even harder. You guessed it. Yes, it's playing the Dragon Ball Z story of Goku, the alien sent from outer space by a culture that sends out its offspring to invade that species, take over the planet, and then clear it out or destroy the planet. Because you're selling planets to other alien species. That was the basic kind of gist of the first episode of DBZ. If you've never seen it, Jesus Christ, what are you doing? That was so long ago. Why do I have to be the Oracle? But anyways, it marries those two concepts. And the funny thing about that is, everybody wants to know what would happen if those two fight, but everyone forgets their origins are so similar. And this marries their concepts so well. And Goku got knocked on the head, and but for a knock on the head, he would have been just like the rest of his people, a, violent mass murdering conqueror. And we get to see that concept played out live. And I am all for that. I was there. I love it. It's great. It gets you excited. You have so much to play with and so much to do here. His development is so intriguing because he's 12. He's a 12-year-old, and you're watching a 12-year-old come to conclusions that may or may not be his own, that may or may not have something to do with his culture's space technology influencing him. But at the same time, it's very sort of very human. This is the way we are in a very real way, in an honest way, in an indicting way even. Man. Some of the other stuff that I wrote down. Yeah, that was probably the wrong talk. Yeah, the dad in this film has the worst dad talk I think I've ever heard anybody try to have. And yeah, that was definitely the wrong talk. This is the problem with Hogwarts magic and superpowers. You can't give a 12-year-old that kind of power. Yeah, it's just that kind of story of, well, I've taught the 12-year-old how to summon fire from a stick. Well, now he's burned down half the neighborhood and he's on his tricycle just dragging it behind him. It's you barely gotten control of your own life. Sharing of cosmic power, when you're that age, just seems like a bad idea. Just seems like it would be trouble. And it ends up being trouble, if you couldn't tell. It's a horror film, kids. It's a horror film. Yeah, I'm with Dad on this one. Yeah, the dad throughout this film calls everything right the whole time, and except for the fact that he had no idea how to hurt his son and yet tried to do it anyway. Yeah, that was your one mistake, bucko, and it got you just done. And I'm telling you, this kid's laser beam eyes would be how Superman actually be. It would not be any of this, well, I'm going to punch you across Metropolis for 2 hours. It would be laser. Oh, you can't fight me no more. Yeah, because I just melted your face. Yeah. Gore warning. Remember, I'm a nice guy. I'm trying to save some of you. Let's see what else we can talk about here in the spoiler section, because the spaceship was a key. They gave that away real early and then did the best job they could with red herring me off that, and I love it. I love that didn't do what I wanted it to do and didn't resolve shit. That's perfect. I mean, it really is, because remember, if this were a hero story, let's get our vocab right. If this were a hero story, you'd want that. You'd want the bad guy to lose. But this is not a hero story. This is a villain story, because this is a horror movie. Yeah. Oh shit, he heard the secret words and his Winter Soldier protocol has activated. Yeah, that was literally, I was about to roll over and die when he's like, Klaatu Verata Niktu. Klaatu Verata Niktu. Oh, it means this. Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, he's Winter Soldier now. He's lost. He's 1,000 yard staring. But then he didn't. Like, that was actually the cool part, is I got excited and thought he was fixing to just go cage ape shit. And he didn't. He went appropriate levels of the good son. And I love that. That was really good. And it subverted my expectations in a unique way that I didn't expect it to, and I really appreciated. Then we get to the part with the eye warning, where I went, oh, no, 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 fuck, extreme gore warning on this film for that on its own. There's a surprise laser beam scene where literally the actor who gets shot, he's laying there on the ground and he looks at the camera like, did I just get laser beamed? What the fuck? And he literally says it. He literally like, what the fuck? And then, oh yeah, best line from that character before said scene of no. He was like, nope, nuh-uh, nope, no, nope, gotta go. This shit's bad. And I was like, oh boy. I really hated how they hurt that character. Oh man. Say guys, God. That was hard to watch. That was really hard to watch, James Gunn. And if you're watching this, oh, but it was good. It was good. It made sense. The clip of it worked. It Doctor Strange the hell out of me in a really cool shot. Um, I really like the symbol of the kid. It kind of reminds me of the thorn from Halloween and from Celtic Scandinavian runes and Viking runes, where you have the sort of pointed ends and double thorns and other kind of things coming together here. Which is usually the idea of pain, harvest, and all that kind of thing. All those elements were kind of surrounding everybody the whole time, which is really cool to see that all that just kind of comes together in the symbol. You get the BB that comes together in the symbol. You also get the Brightburn that comes together in the symbol, and that also kind of it's excuse me, it's place in character. So there's a twofold there. So it's a really rich symbol that they've built, and that's why I would say it'd be a crime, a straight crime, to just drop it here and leave it at that. I mean, you could totally leave it here, and it would totally just be a nugget of a film, and someone who really tackled a concept well. But I think that would just be a shame, be a total shame. Yeah, I'm sitting here going, he comes home and he literally like professionally lies to his parents like he's been doing it his whole life. And that was when that was the Winter Soldier switch. He got turned on into dominate all life mode, and now he's on his sociopath kick. So he's doing all the manipulators. I mean, he full force just tries to manipulate his parents, and the parents are like, "Did he just lie to us?" And he's like, "Yeah, he totally did." And it's like, so that was a point of like, wow, this is really where they're trying to go with this, and I get it. I get kind of why that was the way. Because it makes sense that for all that Clark was, you know who I'm talking about, Superman. For all that Clark Kent developed well and developed his charisma and developed he didn't just develop his powers, so to speak. He developed a sort of personality and a hero's ethic and all of that from his parents and his time on the farm. Well, if you're going to go horror and you're going to drop him in the villain category, you've got to equally grow him in similar ways. He can't just grow like the bad type of the good side. He has to develop as a villain would. So the manipulator versus the charisma, of let me help you versus let me help myself by lying to you and pretending that things are bad. Yeah, and it kind of pulls the wool over the mother's eyes a little too much for my taste. I mean, just a tad, because it's like she knew what was going on, but it's one of those times where the film creator has thrown it back in our face that we won't see it before it's too late. We won't stop it before it's too late because we're all too tied up in the appreciation of it. And granted, that's one way to tell that story, but she just, oh man, she waited way too late, and everything could have. That's where the hero pivot is. It all weighs there, and that's where this is a horror film, not a hero story, not a action adventure film. It's a horror movie. Geez, all the cop, probably the funniest moment in the movie is when the cop's calling for backup. And she's like, "We got a 217 in progress," and I'm sitting there going, "They got a number for psychotic 12-year-old with superpowers." Oh man, it's like we got a 217. I'm like murder, death, kill, or psychotic 12-year-old with powers. Which I don't remember what 217 is. uh, and one of the coolest shots in the film is a slam up through the floor, sort of like bam, 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 and then you have a Dutch angle where the view twists towards you and he flies through it, and you're just like, oh my god, if that had been 3D and in theaters, I probably have pooped. Okay, it was a beautiful shot and so well done. It got me so riveted to what was going on. And it stayed clear, unlike the actual Man of Steel film. Have you tried to watch that? I can't see the film for all the particle effects. Come on, DC, get your shit together. Nobody wants to be the fucking blinded by a film so bad that they can't see for a couple of days due to lens flare burns and particle effect collision with their actual eyeballs. Ah. Yeah, and I love the moral of this film. When you find a space baby, you turn it over to the government, you hear? You find something laying out in the field. If 2020 and 2021 has taught us anything, you take it to the government and you make it their problem. You understand? But I think that's going to do it for this review. I think that's sort of everything I really want to talk about. The sort of creepy behavior that he exudes and just kind of comes off with is just, it's everything. It's everything you want in your villain and your villain's coming of age story. And it's like getting to watch the bad stuff happen. It really is. And if I had to give this song like a movie, or give this movie a song like that perfectly encapsulated it, it's the new song, This Is How Villains Are Made. We just heard that in the Chucky TV show. If you didn't see that or hear it in the episode, it was really kind of cool, and I had to go find it myself. But yeah, that kind of encapsulates the same sort of vibe here. So hopefully you're going to go see this film. It is an A+ film. I am so excited, and I really hope we're going to get to see Brightburn too, because there's so much you could do with this, and you haven't even kind of covered who his nemesis would be. You know, we've not even encountered how the military or the government deals with this. We've not done any of the sort of other work that the Superman genre has already done, and it would be so neat. Just so neat to get to see it, and from this angle, because of course the Superman story should be a horror film. Of course it should be. You know, space alien invades. It doesn't come down and protect us. It comes down and realizes we're the threat. But anyways, that's going to do it for this. So if you've stuck around with me, you horror maniacs, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you leave that like. I really appreciate it, and it lets YouTube know that you like to see this kind of content, and it'll show you more, I promise. And make sure you subscribe if you want to see more. If you enjoyed this review, I appreciate it, and YouTube does too, and it'll keep showing you my stuff if you subscribe, I promise. And especially if you ring that bell. But without any further ado, thank you for journeying with me today, Dungeon Dwellers. I hope to see you on our next adventures. Until then, avoid superpowered children at all costs. You know, Brightburn is that cautionary tale about why we don't give 12-year-olds magic powers. It's the whole reason why I believe Harry Potter and the whole idea of hot. Did I just fucking do that? What the fuck was that? I'm gonna save that one just because that was that dumb. Jesus. Ah, bloopers.